Welcome to tonight's program, Native Plants in the Home Landscape. This presentation is presented by the League of Women Voters of Kittitas County. This Master Gardener, Nola Forster, who will be taking us on a virtual tour along Interstate 90 from Snoqualmie Pass to the Columbia River. We'll explore 7 ecosystems along the way. Nola Forster has been a master gardener through the WSU Extension Program for over 15 years. She grew up on a farm in Oregon and spent most of her career with the U.S. Marshal Service and the Fugitive Task Force. Digging in the soil saved my sanity, she said. She currently lives near Cleellum, where she has successfully native plants on her property. Without any further ado, I'd like us all to welcome Nola Forster. Nola.
I'll talk about several different types of plants, the native mostly, but there's also naturalized plants that are else Europe, but it's really adaptable here. And then, of course, our noxious weeds that have absolutely no controls and just take over the entire landscape. So, and then the herbaceous perennials, like your peonies and those that die clear back to the ground. And then the soil does make a difference depending on the plant. But your pH 7 is a neutral, and most everything will grow in the neutral soils. We're fortunate here in Kittitas County. The red columbine, I think everyone's seen it. It's a very a common plant throughout the area, from moist open forest to the subalpine meadows. And it's a perennial herb, and it gets about 3 feet tall. It also has a very stout taproot. And it's pollinated by hummingbirds and hummingbirds and bumblebees. And it also, there's a yellow columbine that is in the area, and they kind of overlap on occasion, so you get some blending. And then over here is your monkshood. It's adapted for pollination just by bumblebees. They know how to manipulate those flowers to reach the nectar inside, but they're all poisonous. So if you see one, realize if you pasture any that grazes, make sure you don't have them growing in there, because all parts of that plant is highly poisonous. And they flower June, July, and August, most summer. So why would you want to go native? Well, I'll tell you why I went native. Nature was taking over my place because I live next to water. I've got 2 different bodies of water that I live with, and everything grows. And so I decided to, rather than try and fuss over the ornamentals, I'd let some of the natives go. So, why want to preserve a natural habitat without mentioning the spotted owl? So I had to put him in there. But you can develop your own habitat in a very, very small space. Now, this small space in the middle here, I see that in the windy part of Ellensburg, or perhaps in Italy, but it's just jam-packed full of plants that a lot of different species of bugs and critters would just love to have. And so that there's three things that they need: food, water, and shelter to have a good habitat. But the one thing I will tell you, when I tell you, oh, just invite natives in, you see this sweet little path here? Those Forest Service paths, they are maintained by crews. They're hard work. Mother Nature isn't always that neat. She sticks all sorts of things in there. So I just want to warn you, if you want that, be prepared for the work. We have to balance the what the gardener really wants with what will actually grow there, and that's kind of a bare basic. But you have to remember that Eastern Washington has basically alkaline soil. On more moisture, it's acidic. So here's 2 different visions of a water-wise garden. And they're so completely different, but that's as different as people are. And this one over here is my friend Sarah's garden, and she lives out about 5 miles north of Ellensburg. And she's incorporated just about every dryland plant you can think of and it just keeps getting bigger. And then this down here is a photo of what WSU has a lot of different ideas for your gardens. And so this is just how to make a greenscape. So it's basically what you would like to see in your own yard. But I would say keep a journal, because as the years go by, you'll find yourself buying something that you already killed. I've done it way too many times. So this is Kittitas County. You probably don't even think about it so much. I've never looked at it this close up, but I'm gonna start you right up here at Snoqualmie Pass. But you can see that the alpine regions are over 5,500 feet, and we have three of Mount Daniel and Chimney Rock are in the 7,000 foot range, and down here at Table Mountain, that's also considered alpine. So I'll start you out here at Snoqualmie Pass, and we'll go through the subalpine, the montane, on down through. We'll talk about the plants that grow in the Ponderosa zone, down through Alkites, Thorpe, and then we'll be getting into the range area and the shrub steppe and the sagebrush, and we'll just talk about, we'll get clear down to Vantage and where we cross the Columbia River. So where do I start? Is here at Snoqualmie Pass. And you know, I was traveling on Snoqualmie Pass probably for 30 years. Stopped at the rest area, checked out the ski lodge, but I had no idea there was an amazing group of gardeners up there, homeowners that live there year round. Now they all, if you've ever paid taxes in King County, you know why they all live in Kittitas County. So from the pass, the summit to Hyack, there's a large community of people. And I went on a garden tour once, and this lady, you can see how she's incorporated all of the mountain. You really don't place stops and where the rest of the world begins. And this next picture over here on the right is my next door neighbor's place. And she built that bridge herself. It does not go anywhere except to a chair at the end. But this is her view from her kitchen, and she loves it. And it really incorporates the rest of the woods around us. And then again, too, down here, this front yard, you see these fences, that's really the property line, but you really can't tell the way the shrubs and the natural things behind it grow. So let's see, I want to do something, so I'm keeping my ear. So with our partnership with Designer, well, basically what I found, I here with these chokecherries over here, I was killing myself, cutting back suckers every year, weeding every year, and I was going to cut them down, and then, but no, because chokecherries, they feed lots of birds, and they're really nice plants. So I just planted some ground cover under it and incorporated them all into the flower beds. And that's basically what I've kind of given up. I've just let Mother Nature become part of my flower beds. Not that I've given up on my ornamentals, don't get me wrong. So anywhere, this is a very simple display, adding your cushioned sedums to some rocks. And that's again on one of the front yards at Snoqualmie Pass. And then when you're designing your garden, don't forget to give yourself a place to sit. I wound up sitting in the middle of my lawn one day thinking, gee, I should have really thought about putting a chair out here someplace.